Hi, I'm E.D. Lewis and welcome back to my channel. Before we get started, please hit that subscribe button and that like button, and by the end of the video, please leave a comment. I love to hear your read your comments. I did it again. I just don't get enough of them sometimes, but please do leave a comment, even if you're just saying hello, so. I hope everybody's doing okay out there tonight, and since we are getting a nocturnal review this time, and I'm actually going to do a review. I guess last time I did do a review, it was about a TV show, but it was more of an introduction and about the history, because of some future videos I'm planning to do. And so, anyway. This time I am actually doing a book review. So I have two books we'll be reviewing tonight. A young adult book and a children's book. I have no idea why I did that, I just did. Which is Sister Dearest by D.E. Athkins. Excuse me, and Bunnicula by Deborah and James Howe. I think it's Howe, but maybe it's Howe, I don't know. It's Howe. If you know, let me know. If you don't, that's okay too. Or you can tell me your thoughts. So those are the two books. Tonight this evening anyway, we've had some inclement weather, and so there was a tornado warning, and sirens going off, but it only lasted for a short while. By 6, the siren stopped, and it was just heavy rain and some winds, and then it died off, and the storm moved along. My hubby was actually he was worried, and he was at work, and he was sending me messages telling me to go into the bathroom. I've been through it hundreds of times, but he was just really worried, so it was very sweet. And, so that kind of made me want to cry, because, I know. Okay, I'm just not going to talk about it. So, anyway. Well, he was very worried, and so more concerned about me than his own well-being. But anyway, so this time around, let's get down to business, by the way. So I'm not going to do necessarily gothic this time. I'm going to do horror again. I guess the children's book you could consider gothic, I suppose. That's up to you. It's Bunnicula and kind of a children's version of Dracula in some ways. But that's up to you. I don't know if I consider it, so it's a possibility. But, pretty much just mostly horror. So this is a HorrorTube, a BookTube, HorrorTube video. And these are both books that I just finished reading Bunnicula this evening, and Sister Dearest the other day. And these are both books I chose for Halloween-a-thon 2020. Which, I'm sure you've heard me mention it before, but it's, halfway to Halloween, and so for these 7 days, and for some reason, I think I may have said on a video earlier, a few videos back, that it was, it's the 24th through the 30th of April this year, which it is, but for some reason I was thinking that started on a Friday and ended on a Friday. Started on Friday, ended on a Saturday. I was right that it started on a Friday, but it ends on Thursday. For some reason, I thought, for some weird reason, I have no idea why, I thought, oh, it starts on Friday and ends on Saturday. That's 7 days. No, it is 7 days, but it ends Thursday. If it started on Friday and ended on the next Saturday, that's 9 days. So, I don't know what I was thinking. But anyway, today is day 5 of that. It's Tuesday, and so we have 2 more days of it. And I have completed 3 of the 5 challenges, because there's 4 that are book ones. The first is to read a book with black on the cover, or orange, or both, I guess you could do. And that's why I did Sister Dearest. And there is black right at the bottom here, and a little at the top. There's some blue. Of course, there's red, but red's not one of them. There's no orange, but there is black on the cover. And so that was my pick for that. So we're going to be talking about Halloween-a-thon, too. And then the second book was to do, which I didn't do a book, I did a short story. I plan on doing a video on that sometime. I did, it was something, book and watch its TV or motion picture adaptation of it. And so I chose a short story by H.P. Lovecraft and watched the movie the other day. Knocked that whole challenge out all in one day. The next one was to read a book that had to do with something supernatural. Originally, with that H.P. Lovecraft story, I was going to double up and do it for both an adaptation, book and its adaptation, or short story in this case, and its adaptation, and do also with a spooky word in it, which was going to be horror. Well, I decided that's not going to be my spooky word, so I did that. So I decided not to double up on that. And the other book I'm reading right now, I'm almost finished with. It was supposed to be for my something with supernatural. Well, I decided to shift it, so it's going to be for my something with a spooky word. And I changed my book about something supernatural was going to be Bunnicula. So it was a last minute change. And I have all my things on Instagram where I just announced that, oh yeah, by the way, I changed to this and I just finished this tonight. So so that was challenge number 3, was a book about something supernatural. And number 4 was one with a book with a spooky word in the title. And so I have something picked out for that, and I'm almost finished with that. And then challenge number 5, which includes the bonus, was to either dress up in a costume made from things around the house, and I already have a costume idea. I actually already had the idea before I changed up my books a little bit. It was right before I decided to make that decision. And but it's an and or you could do decorate your space for Halloween, or you could do both. And then the bonus is to take a picture of you in the costume and put it on social media. So I'm going to do that. Either tomorrow or the next day I'll do that. So I'll either do it, Wednesday or Thursday, so on the last 2 days. So anyway, let's talk about these books. This first book is Sister Dearest, Blood is Thicker Than Water, by D.E. Athkins. It's a teen horror book, published in 1991. And I've actually had this book for years. I hadn't read it until now, and I thought it'd be a pretty quick read because it's only 106 pages, so it's a really short book. I guess you might consider it a novella, or you might just consider it a book. So, with me, I oftentimes consider novellas to be books anyway, because a novella is described as either a long short story or a short book. So I still consider it, it's a short book, so it's a book, It's a short novel. It's still a novel. So, which I guess you might consider the other book to be, because it's even shorter, but it's a quicker read because it's a children's book, and children's books aren't, usually too awful long. And if they are, they're easy reads anyway. So this book is about a teenage girl named Vicky. I think she's 16 years old. She's starting her new year at Amelia Earhart High. I have my notes here, and I wrote them as I was reading, picking and choosing what I wanted. After a car accident that kept her in the hospital for some time and has left her more fragile than she thinks. More than, things are worse in her head than she realizes. And so we get that psychological point of view right there. When she returns to school, she finds out that there's a new principal, Mary Sewell, who supposedly, as rumor has it, is an ex-nun. So, so she may be kind of strict, which she is. And she seems to have it in for her, because she's constantly watching her. She's like, I got my eye on you. And she's like, you're trouble. And so I've heard all about you. And so she's heard about the accident too, obviously, then. Vicky has a new boyfriend. He's one of the hot jocks in school. And so, life is looking up for her and also looking down, because she still has the same problems at school as, any teenage. There's the bratty, sassy, I'm trying not to use any bad words in here, even though I could use it, since it is a teen novel, and I'm talking about a kid's book after this. Popular girl who says catty things. And, she has the ex walking around thinking he's hot stuff and stuff like that. But the thing is, Vicky is plagued by terrifying nightmares, and a mysterious stalker playing jokes on her and making her fear for her own life. Soon she's not sure who to trust, including her brother and sister. And so she has a big question of, she's constantly looking over her back. There's pranks that are played on her. There's something nasty she finds in her gem locker. She finds a threatening, spooky ass... Oh, I just cussed. Sorry. A threatening, spooky note. Sorry about that. At one point, and I'm trying not to give too much away here. She also has, besides, I already mentioned the nightmares, but she also hears strange sounds when she's all by herself and outside, and she hears footsteps, and there's something terrifying that happens to her in the park, I think. So she's not sure who to trust. She don't know if she can trust her best friend, her family, her new boyfriend, her ex-boyfriend, her rival in the school. So there's all kinds of crazy stuff that happens. This is definitely not a children's book. It is definitely a teenage book, especially the way they talk and stuff. I actually bought this book from my sister because she was selling it when we had a big yard sale years ago. And, I don't remember how much I bought it from her for, like 25 cents or something. This one and a bunch of other similar books. This is actually, ironically, the shortest one, and I just happened to stumble upon it when we were going through some old things and pitching some stuff and, throwing away some other stuff that we didn't need anymore. And, well, what I meant by pitching stuff is, stuff to get rid of, to sell, or give away, or whatever. And, seeing what we wanted to keep and stuff, and I stumbled upon this and thought, ooh, I could possibly read that for Halloween-a-thon, so I did. And so, yeah, this was a pretty good one. It was quick-paced. It wasn't great, but it wasn't bad either. It was more terrifying behind the idea of it, which oftentimes with horror, that's the thing. It's the idea behind the story that's terrifying. So sometimes it is the story itself that's terrifying along with the idea, but I think this focuses more on the idea, so it's a little more psychological, as horror, should somewhat be, I think. It should always be at least some level psychological, whether if they're going for the psychological side of horror, and because horror always depends upon fear of the unknown. And fear of the unknown always is psychological. It's always in the mind. And so even if it's a monster, and you don't see the monster till toward the end of the movie, you build up this picture of the monster in your mind. So it's still psychological no matter what. So, in that respect, I think it succeeds. So, this book is not in print anymore, though. So if you stumble upon it, I would recommend picking it up and reading it, especially if you have teenagers or are a teenager and like a good, thrill or fright. More thrill, though. So, check this out. It also says on the back, the only good sister is the dead sister. And it gives kind of a somewhat misleading, what do you want to call it? Teaser. A somewhat misleading teaser. And of course it says blood is thicker than water on the front, so you got a few little tags on it. Anyway, that's Sister Dearest by D.E. Athkins. So, book number 2 is a children's book, and this I'd recommend for kids and adults. I would actually recommend both. And it is Bunnicula by Deborah and James Howe. I think it's Howe, but I'm not sure. And so this has a more updated cover now. It's still in print. This is actually the cover that they had on the book when I was in elementary school when I first read it. And I recently reread it. Just finished it tonight. I recently just saw what the original cover looked like, and I've seen the newer cover, and I think I've owned like 3 copies of this before. I bought one years ago at Hastings, forgot I had it, got this at a library book sale a few years ago, and then like the year after that, I got another copy, because I actually thought I picked up one of the sequels called Bunnicula Strikes Again, because there's several in the series, but it wasn't. It was just regular. I thought it was Bunnicula Strikes Again with a new cover. No, it was this one, just with a different cover, and I like this cover far better than the newest one. So anyway, this is about a dog named Harold and a cat named Chester, and this little bunny that comes into the house of the Monroes, who's, this, mother, father, and 2 boys, and the dad is an English professor, and the mom is a lawyer, and so they're out to the movies, a Dracula movie, in fact, and they find this little bunny rabbit in, like, a little basket or something, and there's a note. I can't remember if it's a basket or not, or maybe it's a box, and anyway, and it says in Romanian, it's being told, by the way, by Harold the dog. He wrote the story, and so he's telling it, and so he tells the story. Sorry, I'm getting off track. So the note is written in kind of a Carpathian Mountains dialect and of Romanian, and Harold just so happens, since he is descended from it, he just so happens to understand it and can read the language, and so he knows what the note says. It says, "Please take care of my baby." Excuse me. And so the family bring this little white rabbit with little red eyes and a black widow's peak and a black on its back that almost seems to resemble a cape. And they're trying to decide what to name it, and so they decide to name it, since they went to found it at a Dracula movie. Let's call it, Bunnicula. So it's, Bunnicula, like Dracula. Strange thing is, shortly after they get this rabbit, the rabbit sleeps all day, and then wakes up about sunrise, and vegetables on the house start to turn white with absolutely no juice in them. And so it's, what's happening to these vegetables? The cat Chester believes that the bunny is a vampire. Harold doesn't know what to think. Chester has an overactive imagination, but is it truly a vampire, or is it just all in his head? And by the way, the cat reads. So he reads this book called Mark of Vampire and starts to hunt the rabbit, basically, and trying to keep it from, getting at the vegetables, and he's afraid for, the world's safety from this bunny. So it's cute, it's funny. I would highly recommend it for kids and adults. Kids can read it, adults can read it, adults can read it to their kids. So, I don't know if there's a digital version of this book. I have no idea. I didn't think to check that. But I know this book is still in print, so you can probably pick it up. They probably do have a digital version somewhere. So check this book out. And it does have illustrations, by the way. It's illustrated by Alan Daniel. And I can show you, there's Bunnicula right there, beside a little different than the one it shows on the cover. The characters look a little different. I'm trying to find a good one that doesn't give really too much away. Oh, here's all the Monroes, Harold and Chester, and they're cutting open a vegetable that they found the next day, completely white. So there's one illustration for you besides that one on the cover or title page. So yeah, and it's only 98 pages long, and it was, I forgot to say when it was published. It was published in 1979, but it's a kid's classic, children's classic, so I'd check it out. It's pretty good. So that's pretty much it. If you would like to check out my book, by the way, or, by the way, like I said, I know I just plugged these, but please check these out. If you get a chance to check this one out, it's not in print anymore, but if you ever see it, pick it up. This one I highly recommend, and it's still in print, so. But if you'd like another book that's gothic and romantic and mysterious and, has suspense and terror and intrigue and a little bit of horror, you could always check out my book on Kindle, but there's also a paperback version that you could get as well. It's called The Curse of Ridge House, a gothic novel by me, E.D. Lewis. And it is available on Amazon. You can get it in Kindle for $2.99, or you can get it for paperback for a little bit more. Also, please follow me on Instagram and Twitter. I keep up a little more on Instagram than Twitter, but those are my main social media things right now. Also, please visit my author page on Amazon, and please check out and like on Facebook my page I have for my book. It's the official page for the official Facebook page for the Curse of Ridge House. So please check that out. I'm also on Wattpad, so you can read anything on Wattpad that I have on there, including the first 2 chapters in my book for free, as well as any short horror stories I have on there. I have some poetry on there as well. So check that out. And I'm hoping soon that I might have a little bit more. I do have a short story I'm working on, which may appear on there eventually, but I'm planning for it to be on Kindle, and it is a romance story. And so be looking for that. I just haven't finished it yet. I've been working more on my reading than my writing, so. But that should be done soon. There's not much left to do on that. But yeah, so please check me out on Instagram and Twitter. And yeah, check out these books. Half-Ween-a-thon finishes this Thursday, the 30th of April, sorry. And soon we have May Day on Friday. It's the first day of May, so I'll be wishing you all a happy Beltane. And, if it's nice where you are and not rainy, go for a walk. Look at the flowers. Dance around a maypole if you can. Have some strawberry muffins. Make some, have some strawberry lemonade. Have some fun that day. So anyway, that's it for my reviews, our nocturnal review, since it's nighttime. So yeah, young adult or teen horror and children's horror books. So I might do this again if I ever end up reading some more children's books or young adult horror novels, which I'm sure I will. I'm more apt to read young adult than I am probably children's books. But so. I'll see you in a few days with another review. It probably will not be it will not probably be Half-Ween-a-thon, but, related, but, we'll see. So anyway, see you next time, and have a good evening, and stay safe out there. Bye-bye.